Hi, this is James Headley. Thanks for tuning in today to the Living in Naples channel. You've probably heard the old adage that the three most important words in real estate are location, 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 right? As we approach the midpoint of the year, I'm recording this the final week of June, I thought it might be useful to take a look at a couple of the biggest locations in Naples to see what they can tell us about where we've been the past 6 months and maybe a bit about where we might be headed. On that latter note, hang around till the end of the video and I'll tell you why I think this is a really good time to be a buyer in Southwest Florida. But before then, I want to thank you for tuning in again, liking, subscribing, and sharing the channel. And let's dive right in with our look at the numbers for Pelican Bay and Lely Resort. Chosen these two as a proxy for the overall Naples real estate market because these are just two very big locations. You know why? First, there's the scale. Pelican Bay has over 6,500 residences. Lely Resort's not far behind at close to 5,000 doors. These are really mega communities in the area. Many of you may have visited one or both of these if you've spent any time in Naples. Another reason that they're good samples to look at is that they both offer a range of different types of homes. You know, everything from smaller condos or condos out to large golf course estate homes. So we can get a sense of what's going on in different market segments by looking at communities such as these. And finally, there's the difference in location of the two communities. You know, with Pelican Bay up in North Naples and west of 41, and Lely closer to Marco and just east of 41. Get a little bit of cross section for the overall Naples market, so we're not looking at just the same area, specific geographies. So with that said, as we start by looking at Pelican Bay, the median home that sold there in the first half of 2022 actually went for $1.55 million, $793 per square foot. Across the 200 plus sold homes that made up that first half of the year, the median listing price was $1.5 million. So, the presence of multiple bidders and low inventory that I've spoken about at length in a number of videos really manifested itself there in the form of the average home in Pelican Bay going for about $50,000 above asking when all was said and done. As we look at Lely and its 180 plus sales in the first half of the year, the median selling price there was $643,000 and $335 per square foot. Now, while not as pronounced as in Pelican Bay, the average Lely seller in the first half of 2022 received about 1 to 2% over list price. When we turn to looking just at single family homes, in Lely, the median selling price was just over $1.3 million. While in Pelican Bay, the figure was just under $5 million on less than 1/3 the volume of single-family homes there in Pelican Bay. Now, looking at condos, villas, etc., basically any non-single-family home residences, $1,440,000 was the median selling price for those homes in Pelican Bay, and non-single-family homes in Lely Resort in the first half of 2022, the median selling price there was $525,000. So, there probably aren't a lot of surprises, or at least no big surprises there for those that are regular viewers of my channel. Not a ton of inventory, more buyers than sellers, and rising prices across all of Naples were the dominant story up until at least the past few weeks or so. That's where things start to get interesting. Since many of the homes that closed in the past month may have been under contract for 30 days or much longer in some cases, even though we won't have the final numbers in terms of sales prices for them in a while, it's interesting to look at pending sales as well as active listings to see what they tell us about where the market is, but probably more tellingly, where the market is heading. First, those pending sales figures. Of the 29 homes under contract in Lely Resort at the time of this recording, the median dollar per square foot of their final listing price before going to contract was $338. Now that's just $3 above the median for those homes that were sold in Lely in the first 6 months of the year. So at minimum, the market seems to be stabilizing. What about Pelican Bay and their pending sales there? The 24 homes under contract there had $698 as the dollar per square foot at the time they went pending in terms of listing price. And that's nearly $100 per square foot decline from the median selling price of those homes that sold in the first half of the year. What about active listings? In Pelican Bay, the median asking price is $905 per square foot right now. In Lely, it's $459. in both cases significantly above the most recent selling prices and the pending prices as well. So it's those last two sets of numbers that bring me back around to why I think that this is probably a really good time to be a buyer. There's a bit of a reset that's happening in the local real estate market. Many of those sellers that waited until after the season to list their homes they've missed the optimal timing to sell, but they've priced their homes as if we're still in that optimal window. When valuations, comps, etc. seem not to matter, as buyers were just desperately chasing the very few homes that were out there on the market. Throw in the fact that the majority of homes on the market were listed prior to the Fed's recent moves, and there's even more downward pressure on the optimistic prices out there. At the same time, the real value of homes in the Naples area has been raised considerably from 18 months ago when the boom began. So sellers are sitting on a lot more equity. Now, that kind of environment means there is room for negotiation again, and in some cases, considerable room for negotiation. As I shared in my recent video alert on the softening of the market, price cuts are back after being on hiatus for the longest time, which is indicative of the fact that smart sellers are adjusting their expectations to the new market conditions, even if a bit slower than perhaps is necessary. So if you want to be aggressively reasonable with an offer as a buyer, we're back in business. So let's have a conversation about that in your particular situation. Thanks again for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I'd love to break down the numbers for you on any other areas or communities that are of interest. Certainly feel free to leave a comment if you'd like me to break it down in a future episode of the channel, or let's have a private conversation about it and look at what the situation might bring for you. With that, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode and to hearing from you if I can help in any other way. Thanks so much, and see you soon.